Hello, Internet! We picked up right where we left off from me. We're still spinning. They spinning! They spinning! So, they're spinning. I'm gonna stop, 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 stop. Alright, Doubleheader Junior. Now, I should say, now I'm pretty sure this is the bearing that came with it. I do know, according to Horace, thank you again, Horace. I don't know if I really gave him quite enough thanks last time. Anyway, yeah, so this is from the Horace collection. I don't know if I gave him enough thanks. This is I want to say, I think he said this was a full ceramic. It's kind of hard to tell if this is ceramic or steel races. I mean, it's not as dark as I would expect the ceramic to be. Let's just pop something off and compare here. But it's got that cool ceramic look. Yeah, I mean, it does look like very different from a stainless steel race. So maybe these are the full ceramics. He told me they were, and I'm sure he'll comment down below. So we're going to just go on record as saying they're the full ceramics, because I'm pretty sure that's what he said. And I believe I'm pretty sure, again, they're from WooSah, and it's a Japanese full ceramic. I'm not sure. I do see Tarso on the side there. Look at that. I think I'm pretty sure we're in 60 frames. 608 CE. Does it say anything on the other side? But in any event, so this is the Doubleheader Junior, but with a ceramic bearing, with a little bit of a texture on the face. And dun, 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 some little rounded edges. So a nice polish. So how do we feel about this guy? Now, if you guys remember before, I was, probably for me and how I would like to be with WooSah, I was a little harsh, only in the sense that I like the WooSah folks, and I really like to be 100% overwhelmingly positive, and I just couldn't quite be there with the 608, or the Doubleheader Junior that I had in the machine finish before. So where are we now with this particular guy? So first and foremost, the 608 bearing, again, you get a really good feedback from it, so it's probably really noisy in the camera, so I probably should hold it a little bit further back when we're fidgeting with it. Let's bring it in one more time just to see because it didn't bring it in real nice and close. So as you've come to expect with WooSah, with their finishes, they're immaculate finishes. You know, I can't really ever hear, I remember hearing or seeing things about like, oh, you know, my WooSah finish was, you know, it came from them in really bad shape. I mean, I'm sure a couple of them have happened. It's want to happen with things eventually. But balance, you know, again, what we would expect from WooSah, pretty much perfect. Now, it's a 608 bearing. I'm not sure if that makes it easier or harder to balance. I would think potentially, I don't know, a 608 bearing doesn't move quite as freely, so I think it's less likely to show a balance issue when you're trying to hold it, which I don't know if that helps make it a little smoother. So I feel like a larger bearing is probably easier to balance. But so how do we feel fidgeting wise with this? So a lot of the problems that I had before are still sort of there, but they're not as bad. And I don't know if that's just me getting used to a double header. Like, it feels like it's not always in position where I want it to be. But it's light, it's fast, especially in the 608. Again, look at that mirror finish. Looks just gorgeous. Really cool spin profile. But it's sometimes it feels like it's not where I want it to be. Now, if I'm kind of bouncing it back and forth, once I get it moving, it's not one I really want to stop and like preload. Right, like especially with a 608, I'm not finding like this is really what I want to do with it, and it's not too bad to do that with. And again, with the buttons, with the texture on the surface, it definitely feels easier. I don't feel like my hands slipping around with it, despite my hands being pretty dry right now. All things considered, it is a little warmer. We're in the 59 degrees here. All things considered, it's pretty warm. But I'm definitely having an easier time getting grip on this face, on this surface with some texture, and you can hardly feel it. It doesn't feel that deep, but it doesn't need to be a lot to feel it. Same thing with these buttons. These, whatever the finish and anodizing is going on, these are aluminum buttons, but they don't really feel aluminum, and they give plenty of grip. This little edge here coming to a sharp angle, like it's not rounded. Like I'm pretty sure. Oh, I didn't bring those buttons either. If I had my double header, I would have the stainless steel buttons, which I think are a little rounded, where these are kind of have a little bit of an angle and just assists in the grip. It just feels grippier. But especially with this guy, what I was starting to say is I don't feel the need to want to do preloaded flicks as much, and I don't know if that's the 608 and or the shape of the spinner or what, but I really want to kind of bounce it around. I want to get it spinning one way, and I want to interrupt the spin, and whether I'm stopping it to go forward or pulling it in, which is where I definitely get more satisfaction from, but I kind of want to flick it out and then wind up So I don't really want to get it wound up this way and then really push it that way, but you can. But I really just kind of want to bounce it back and forth. Like, that's where it feels like it wants to be. And if that's your style of fidgeting, then since it's spinning, your finger's always going to run into something. Again, if you're trying to stop it and start it, stop it and start it, sometimes you can see that. I'm trying to exaggerate it a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. But that's where I don't think this is quite the most fidgetable. I think if all you had was a double header, you get used to this. I can see this, you know, being a fan favorite and people really enjoying them. The other ones I've seen, they have it called, and I thought it was sort of like a unicorn, called the Audi, where it has just about the same type of groove as this right here, and then this sort of groove on either side. So it kind of dips in and then up and then dips in, and I can see the way I pull my finger across. That would probably be a lot easier to catch. Sorry about that. Yeah, I find that that's, with the size buttons it is, I can't really use my middle finger to fidget with quite as well, because it's not really coming in parallel as opposed to kind of coming across into the plane. So, what was I saying? What was my point? Yeah, so I think I can see this again being sort of a fan favorite once you kind of get used to that style of fidgeting, right? It's very bouncy, it's very responsive, it feels very light and fast. Let's weigh it, shall we? So I think knowing what a double header is and kind of getting that into my brain, playing around with the second one, plus the textured surface, plus the 608, I think is the better place to get it. So I think part of what I was saying really holds water, is you want to have some texture on the surface of this. That machine finish that I had was just too smooth. You know, so get something with some dots, get something with a fletching, get something with an orbit or a zen, or I'm not sure all the different versions and facets and stuff that they make. If they make a faceted version, I can't imagine that being anything but even better, because then you're just going to get a little more bite on the edges for preloaded flicks. But again, if you probably just saw that a little, trying to do a preloaded flick, it's easy to miss. So yeah, so I like it. I like it a lot. I think, again, I think more angles, more things for your fingers to catch on would make it, would still improve the fidgetability of this. I think, see, partially with as narrow as this is and as wide as these buttons are, your finger doesn't really kind of get in there as much as it would on something like, I know it's a tri-spinner, but like on the Talisman that has those finger grooves that really let you get your finger in there and pull off, where this finger groove does not provide a lot of flicking power. It does. I mean, you can definitely get in on there. Whew, see, almost did it again. But yeah, you just really can't get in there with that. So let's tighten those buttons up. So yeah, the double header junior. Yeah, I dig it. I definitely dig it more in the 608. So what else do we have to say on the matter? Oh, you know what? I didn't give my thumbs up recommendation on this yesterday. So 2 awkward thumbs up on the Cosmos in the 608. Yes. I want to make sure I didn't completely lose my mind in terms of my place and what I was saying. But yeah, I think the 608s can get, again, maybe the same sort of thing with Ataraxis, where maybe it's 1.5, because I still think, you know, the Chakras and the Namastes might be the better offerings from them. Yeah, we'll give it 1.5, because I think honestly the Namaste is where I would go to start. But if you've got a Namaste, nothing wrong with getting yourself a little orbit. So, and if you can find a Namaste in the 608, I think that might be the play, to be honest. So, but again, for me, I'm liking the feedback, so I'm appreciating 608s more now. So, if you need the smoothness, go with the 188. If you want the feedback, go with the 608. Dun, 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 dun. And then the same sort of thing with this. I think if you want the smoothness, obviously you want to go with the 188, but the 608 is good. Don't ignore 608. And if it's been a while since you've had a good bearing with some feedback, and you're just looking for 1-drops all the time, Rommel, get a 608 and get something with a little bit of feedback and see if that changes your mind or get used to it. Or then you at least have it in the repertoire. Maybe you can pull it out every couple of weeks and see if, like, you've changed and you're like, you know what, I'm a changed man. I want a bearing with some feedback. I want to spin it with some feedback. Let me know that it's there. Let me hear you, internet. Can I get a what? So, all right, internet. I think that's about all we got to say. I didn't test the spin times, especially being a 608. We just don't care, and it's a WooSah. We don't really care about spin times too much. Just really good little spinner. So we will leave it at that. We'll leave you with a little bit of a spin, leave you with a little bit of reflection. We'll take it from there. Oh, did I do a WooSah? I don't think I did a WooSah, so we'll leave you with a WooSah. Kisses, internet.